Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stef Sells NWA Podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We're going to get into photography for real estate. And we have a professional photographer. His name is Willie with Tri Media. Willie, do you want to go into your background in photography?
Yeah, so I'm Willie, co-founder of Tri Media. And my background in photography, I got into photography when I was a kid. It was kind of a small hobby. But in the last couple of years, I ran into a friend who was doing real estate media, photos, videos, and I've kind of figured to put both of those two together. He was in Dallas, I was here in Northwest Arkansas, so I decided to put those two things together, and here I am. It's been a year and a half now that I've been in the real estate photography industry, and it's been a lot of fun since I got started.
That's awesome. So, why do you feel like photography is really important for real estate listings?
Great question. Right now, how the industry is, there's so many listings. People usually go on realtor.com or Zillow.com. And the best way for your sellers to showcase their house or make it stick out is by real estate media, by putting the extra creativity into the photography of their homes, making it stick out, especially in the summertime when you add a little bit of green grass to it or on the blue sky. It makes it look better on the app and on a computer, and sellers stick out more like that as well. Their homes are going to stick out more.
So that goes into my next question, which is what elements make a property stand out, or things make the picture stand out?
Yeah, the best thing for a home to stick out or to showcase better than another property that's competing against it. Is definitely in summertime, making sure that your outdoor lawn is cleaned up, your grass is mowed, your house is power washed if possible, organizing your patio deck and an interior, just making sure that the clutter's out of the way. If you're in the market of buying a home, do you want to go into a home that's not organized, that has stuff cluttered around? Or do you want a house that's picture perfect, like the one you saw online? Like when you walk into the house, it's more inviting. You got a couple seconds for that couple or that person that's looking to buy a home. If it's clean, it's organized, for them to go in and be interested in your home. That's like the best way as a photographer that we want to shoot your house as well, so that people are able to feel the home without actually stepping foot. And then from that, they're engaged to actually go to the home and actually take a look at it.
Yes. So how do you approach lighting, angles? Do you comment on staging, anything like that?
Yeah, so we try to work with realtors by providing them like a cheat sheet of what they should do to prep their home for photo listings. When I get to the home, if there's a few things that are out of place, like I know a lot of sellers have pets, so if there's dog bowls, water bowls out, we kind of hide them. If there's a trash can, we kind of put that away as well. And then we just try to make sure that everything is cleaned up on the counter. The main points of what people want to see is obviously is the house clean, but kitchen and bathrooms are always like definitely important, because those are like things that people that are in the market are wanting to make sure that they look good. So if we have the bathroom and the kitchen's cleaned up and organized and nothing on the counters, then that makes it a lot easier for us to go in, take the right angle shot, and not have to edit too much out of it to make sure that it looks good.
Yes. So you were just telling me off camera about a listing that you just went to recently, and you had to witness that.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 8 months going on, and there's been a few properties that I've been to that definitely needed a little extra help. And by a little, I mean a lot, but
Before they should take
before.
photos.
And like I mentioned, like sometimes you consider it clean, but in my mind, it's when I get to the home, it's like, this isn't going to sell itself. Like, you're obviously trying to get a person coming in to buy the property. How do you expect to sell it if it's not cleaned, it's not organized? At least for the pictures to look out good, we can only do so much on a picture edit before it looks completely photoshopped, which could turn a person off, especially when they look on like a Zillow or Realtor.
Right. So you already answered what can agents and sellers do to prepare a home for a photo shoot. So how about how has technology changed and in real estate over the last few years?
For sure, definitely the photos. Before, if you could either check it out like on a booklet, but Zillow and Realtor in the past, like they're usually houses that are being taken. The photos were taken by like an iPhone or someone's cell phone, and before that worked. Now after like the whole COVID, it changed because we weren't allowed to go to homes and we were stuck at home. So we were like trying to buy everything digitally. So when it comes to like getting very nice photos, taking video tours, either a 3D tour where you can move through the home, or getting a video of the home, a tour of the home, creating drone aspects as well. Those are all completely new and game changers, and they'll definitely allow for someone who doesn't know the area to kind of get a full feel of what that house is. And like I mentioned, if the house is appeasing to someone because the photos look good, the house looks clean. And then if you do add a few drones in there where you can showcase of like the area, that'll make a customer or a buyer more interested and have a higher percentage for you to actually go visit the home with your realtor.
Nice. That's awesome. So, do you see any emerging trends that sellers and agents should be aware of?
I feel like what's going to start happening now is with the more improved technology, that's going I feel like what realtors need to put into more is making sure that they're on camera when they're selling this property also. There's only so much that photos and a still video can do. What you want to do is definitely be in the video, no more voiceovers. Like you being in the video itself and showcasing it and giving it the top highlights is going to attract someone to come to visit that home, or for a realtor to sell it, especially if you're there and they see how open you are and direct and clear and provide that open feeling instead of just looking at pictures. A buyer will be like, this realtor, she knows what she's doing, she's confident, and she's giving me the top highlights of the stuff that I actually want to know about the home, which I'm not getting if I just looked at a regular video.
I've actually started to see that slowly more people or more real estate agents are doing more video.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would be interesting to see like the next 2 years how many more agents are going to be doing.
It also adds, and adding into that a little bit, is
Yeah.
the branding. Like you yourself are trying to not just sell your seller's home, but you're trying to gain more potential sellers or potential buyers. And you being in the video, and a future seller can be like, she knows what she's doing. She made this house look really great, and I'm sure it went off the market pretty quick. So this is a person I actually want to work with in the future. So I feel like branding and then being in the videos themselves is something where I feel like it's going to grow in popularity as
Right. And we'll pick up where we left off. Sorry, everybody, we had some technical difficulties, so we're gonna go back to where we were at. So, the last question I asked you is, how do you handle properties that may not be picture perfect?
Great question. So the way I try to handle those is just doing the best that we can do without having to edit it all the way completely. We want to make sure the pictures look genuine and official. Um, if we can, we have a cheat sheet prep sheet that we send out to realtors prior, hoping that they can pass it on to the sellers to where they have things organized. Again, making sure that it looks good. Obviously, the definition of good for everyone is different. There's been times where I've had to show up and I will personally move some things around. But at the end of the day, what I try to do is just do it like I mentioned, try to make it look genuine and official. And if there's small things that I can move out of the way by editing them out, I'll do that. But I don't want to provide like I mentioned earlier, like if there's a room with a whole bunch of boxes and you just can't move them, just try to take as much a great shot of the room showing how wide and big it is. Obviously, I'm not going to go and edit all that out, because at the end of the day, I don't want you as a realtor to bring someone over to a home and it looked like it was picture perfect with nothing inside of it, and then you show up and it's crowded with boxes and everything. So it'll turn that customer off or that buyer away, and it'll kind of give you a bad rap. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that you look good at the same time when we present these pictures to you, and for other realtors to look good when they show up at it. But just trying to do small things. There's only so much you can do, but try to do the best and make sure that the house looks great and that it sticks out in a positive way when it's on any type of app or website that you're looking at.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times I've showed, like, there's been several properties I've showed that, the pictures look great. And then we walk into the house, I'm like, what happened?
That tends to happen and a lot. I try to steer realtors, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but like virtual staging sometimes has a negative effect, because you can add a couch to a room or a TV, but when you walk in with a client or a buyer and then it's not like that, it, like you said, it just automatically gives out a bad impression of not only the realtor who purchased the virtual staging, but also for the realtors showing that house, because it turns off the buyer and it makes that person not look like, hey, I thought this is something that we saw online and it looked great. Now we show up and it's not even close to what
Yeah, so
we
that's
came
with
to.
resale homes. But how about with like new construction? Would you do virtual then, or you do
New construction, again, it depends. If it makes sense, let's do it. But in majority, like new constructions, they're great because they're already setting up the house to look really nice. It's got all brand new furnishings, countertops are crystal clear, so you don't have to add anything more to it because it's already set up to be successful. It's a brand new listing. It looks good. We'll make sure that it gets the touches that make it stand out compared to other listings in that area or in that price range. But I wouldn't, for a new home, I wouldn't recommend it. Sometimes for an older home or a reselling another home, might consider it a little bit more just so it can make it look a little bit better.
So when it comes to new construction, do you recommend virtual staging then, or
For virtual constructions, it really depends. I would recommend it more for like older homes. For new constructions, they already have like all the cool details and finishes that are modern to right now. And when it's vacant, it gives a consumer a better understanding of the place it's by itself. So I wouldn't need it for. I don't think it's recommendable for a newer construction. It's definitely it all depends on the seller, but I would recommend it more or lean towards if it's like an older home or a resale home.
and if it's vacant,
And if
right?
it, yeah,
You know,
and if it's vacant,
it's occupied,
hmm
then you just work with what you
exactly.
got.
Hmm.
And what about personal pictures, anything like that? Do they need to take them down, or is it okay if they leave?
Majority of the times, most sellers already have those personal pictures or belongings already packed up or moved out of the way, so they're not even an issue when I show up. It really just depends on the seller how comfortable they are for them to see their pictures up on a website. But majority of the time, it hasn't been an issue because they're usually down by then.
Awesome. Those are great tips for sellers. And now we're gonna ask more of a real estate agent personal question. Have you worked with any difficult real estate agent,
Good
or how do you
question.
handle that?
I feel like in everything in like a customer service realm, like you get a little bit of everything. Luckily for me, in the couple months that I've been in the industry, I haven't really had that many realtors that have been an issue. They've all been really great to work with. There's been a few that I've had a few issues. I think what really has occurred is when a realtor underestimates the value of the property they're trying to sell, being that they're not trying to spend too much or invest a lot in a property. An example is I had to go take photos for a 3,000 square foot home, and the realtor only wanted to invest in like 16 or 18 pictures. It's really hard to take a 3,000 square foot home with only 13 or 16, 18 pictures. I would recommend it's usually 10 per like 1,000 square foot. So if it's a 1,000 square foot home, 10 to 12 probably a good range. You can probably knock it out. Anything closer to 2,000, 20 to 25. And then it just goes on from there. So I feel like those have been kind of the major issues. Sometimes I had one realtor that stated that the coloring was off. I guess with the editing, it might change it a little bit. But other than that, I haven't had a big issue. Realtors have all been really good to work with. Just some small details like that I've had to go back and either let them know like, hey, this is gonna be really hard or impossible to do. I can't see that.
Oh my gosh. What are we doing?
Oh. One of the best realtors that I've worked with is Daniel. He spends a lot when it comes to videos and photos.
Okay. Okay, producer, stop it. So that's good to hear that you've most of your experience has been pretty good with real estate agents here. So if there's anybody that's needing professional pictures done for their listings, reach out to Willie here. He's really cool to work with. Where can we find you?
Good question. I'm on Instagram. I don't have a website right now. All my stuff is on Instagram. But that's where you'll be able to reach me the fastest and the quickest. And one thing that I feel like I offer in Northwest Arkansas is I don't think there's another Hispanic or Latino doing this. And I'm definitely here to serve the community and and be there for all the realtors that speak Spanish and have that clientele. I feel like that's been a big a big part of why I do this, and also I feel like when I have attended a seller, a Latino seller, me speaking Spanish makes the homeowner feel very comfortable and when I show up. So that's been a really big positive. I feel like when I have worked with realtors, Hispanic realtors and Hispanic homeowners.
Yeah, and I have I would say about half of my clients have been Hispanic, so that helps too. Well, what was your handle for Instagram?
It's try.media.co.
Okay, so now you know where to find him. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank